Good morning and welcome to the daily news trends on SSiTV Africa. Former President Jacob Zuma in police custody. Former President Jacob Zuma handed himself over to the police just before midnight on Wednesday, a few hours after ambulances were turned away from the entering the Nkandla homestead by his son, Edward, and a small crowd which had gathered in support of the former president. The governing party has commended former President Jacob Zuma for handing himself over to the police in compliance with the Constitutional Court ruling related to his contempt of court case. ANC national spokesperson Pule Mabe told SABC's News that former President Zuma's decision was a display of leadership. Police issued a statement just after midnight confirming that they had former President Zuma in custody. Former President Zuma spends first night in custody. Former President Jacob Zuma has now officially begun serving his 15-month sentence prison. He handed himself over to police officials in the early hours of Thursday morning. This is after being found in contempt of court. Prison authorities confirmed that former President Zuma has been admitted to start serving a 15-month sentence at Escort Correctional Center. His foundation tweeted that former President Zuma had decided to comply with the incarceration order and headed himself to a correctional facility. World passes 4 million COVID-19 deaths as Asia battles fresh outbreaks. More than 4 million people have now died from COVID-19. The WHO said on Wednesday, as many rich nations prepare to loosen restrictions even as countries in Asia battle surging infections. Millions are facing new lockdowns across Asia, and Indonesia has emerged as global hotspot with death rates rising tenfold in a month to a record 1,040 on Wednesday. The world is at perilous point in this pandemic, said WHO Chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, calling the 4 million figure an understatement of the true toll. Tedros castiged rich countries for hoarding vaccines and protective equipment and accused them of acting as though the pandemic is already over by relaxing restrictions. Indonesia, a vast archipelago of 270 million, has ordered people to work from home if possible and restricted opening hours of businesses across its territory. Crude oil prices fall again as markets digest Fed minutes. Oil prices finished lower again Wednesday following a choppy session, while equities mostly gained as the markets digested Federal Reserve minutes signaling a policy change was coming but not imminent. Oil prices meanwhile finished lower again after protracted talks by OPEC Plus producers were called off without an agreement. As was the case on Tuesday, oil prices rose early before changing courses and plunging. If the United Arab Emirates rejects the so-called OPEC Plus agreement, it might provide markets with more oil than expected, driving prices even lower. In the coming months, the oil market rally was likely to reserve anyway. That process may have already started, Razak Zada remarked. Cold front expected to make landfall in Cape Town on Thursday. The South African Weather Services has warned of possible localized flooding as yet another cold front is expected to make landfall in Cape Town on Thursday. Thousands of people have been affected by flooding due to the persistent storms last week. The city's Charlotte Powell says disaster management crews are on standby to deal with the weather-related incidents. We are expecting disruptive rainfall between midday and 11 p.m. tonight. Heavy rainfall over short periods can also result in localized flooding. Strong winds will also be picking from around 9 a.m. this morning up until 11 p.m. tonight. The cold front is forecast to be shorter than previous ones. England sends destiny after beating Denmark to reach Euro 2020 final. England fed off the energy of a passionate Wembley crowd to beat Denmark 2-1 in extra time in the Euro 2020 semi-finals on Wednesday and now stand just 90 minutes away from ending their 55-year trophy drought. Gareth Southgate's men will face Italy on Sunday, again on home turf, infused with belief they can win a first major international tournament since the 1966 World Cup. From Euro 92 champions Denmark, defeat spells the end of a fairy tale run to the last four after the trauma of witnessing starman Christian Eriksen collapse in their first match. Thank you for tuning in on the Daily News Trend.